everybody, and welcome once again to the Defender Roundtable. We are here to bring you another, what I know will be a packed with opinion piece on what we're talking about today is the White History Month. Do we need it? I know what you're saying is we have it every other month except February. But we kind of did a deeper dive, and some of the Defender staff thinks we actually do need a White History Month. So we're going to jump right in and start with one of the men who wrote an article that everybody needs to check out, Aswad. You say, yes, we need a White History Month. Why is that?
Absolutely, we need White History Month. When we go to school, we don't learn enough white history. I am right there with Trump and all them MAGA folk. We need us some white history. Let me share with you just a little bit of white history that we need that we're not getting. The theft of 12 million acres of Black-owned farmland. That's white history. The denial of GI benefits for deserving Black veterans. That's white history. COINTELPRO's assault on and assassination of Black leadership. That's white history. J. Marion Sims becoming the father of gynecology, experimenting on Black women with no consent and no anesthesia. That's white history. The use of Black children and toddlers as alligator bait. That literally happened in this country. That's white history. The sending of lynching photos as postcards to loved ones. That's white history. The murderers of Emmett Till got off scot-free, then got paid by Life magazine to tell how they killed Emmett Till. That's white history. How much more do you want? We could go on and on. We need us some white history.
I don't think that's the white history they were talking about, but I like what you're talking about. I like where you're coming from. Terrence, you want to weigh in?
Well, I'm with a SWAT. I mean, we need to let these people know, let our people know, and sit in these classrooms together as our kids hear this history, and understand that it's that the way that it's written, the way that it's delivered to us. I mean, let's just talk about when Christopher Columbus and those people showed up here, and how we had like this great, we think that we had this great Thanksgiving where everybody sat down and ate together. It was a happy day, and they didn't know. Nobody told them that they were plotting to kill those people, during that dinner. I mean, that's why Thanksgiving ain't a holiday for a lot of people. I mean, so there's so much of that type of history that I think really gets kind of whitewashed and swept under the rug that we need to deal with, and we need to show them that, like, look here, it ain't, this thing ain't been nice, and it's never been above board.
And so I think when we hear tells the story about before that's quote unquote Thanksgiving, where all these pilgrims were dying off. They ate all the horses, then they ate the leather shoes, then they started eating each other, and that's the Native Americans came and saved them, and then they killed their ass too.
They killed, yeah,
as well.
So I think when you hear all these people say, well, what about White History Month? I think they want a sanitized version of white history.
Oh, I can give a sanitized version.
You're talking the real white history.
I'll let someone else speak.
Yeah.
All right, we'll let Laura go.
I mean, you're talking about the Native Americans, you're talking about Thanksgiving, we're talking about white supremacy. I mean, as a system, I remember in school when we were learning about manifest destiny, and that's why I don't know if you remember that kind of conversation happening in schools where European colonialism and genocide and land theft was an actual thing. And the fact that these white people thought that they had every right to expand their ministry across the whole entire North America and beyond. And that impacted, of course, Native Americans in this country. And then we're here talking about just colonialism in general. We're talking about like the Berlin Conference. I remember learning about that, where Europeans, they use their power to divide the African continent without the people's thoughts or opinions about having their hands all over the continent. That we go as far as with just all over the Black diaspora, as far as white influence. And so, yes, this is definitely white history. It's not nice. And it's still embedded in our in the culture today as we see it. It's pretty disgusting, really. And I don't know why this type of information is not being considered history in schools without it being whitewashed.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about some of that whitewashing and sanitizing, but that's why you're saying that some of that sanitizing is still as bad, right?
Well, I can offer some sanitized white history because I think that's critically important to be balanced. I was screaming and all that, but that's not fair. So let me bring it down a little bit and just talk about the purposeful flooding of Black communities with drugs and military grade weapons during the Iran-Contra affair. Um, that was white history. The purposeful flooding with water of Black neighborhoods to create lakes like Lake Lanier in Georgia, flooding Black people. That was Black history. The changing of prison population from 95% white to predominantly Black with the onset of convict leasing system and the rise of the prison industrial complex. That was white history. And I can be as sanitized and calm in presenting that because we really need to have these conversations.
And I don't know if they're ready to have these conversations. One of the things we're seeing a lot of now is what I was talking about. I call it a lot of white tears because you see
Ooh.
people losing their jobs. You see all of these Trump supporters that I don't know if they thought that Trump was only going to get the Black and the brown people because he's only doing what he told everybody he's going to do. But now we really do see a lot of people going, wait a minute. I didn't think I was going to be one of those that lost a job. Weigh on that real quick before we head out.
I thought that was amazing. I mean, I think we all knew that this was coming. I mean, we all knew that. I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, I think definitely there's some racial stuff when it comes to Trump and his administration, but I think it's also even bigger than that. It's a class thing, and that's why no person in their right minds who's a middle class working person should ever support this guy because his politics don't support you. I mean, and what he's in the process of doing is going to sweep across. It's not going to just harm us. It's going to harm middle class white people, and lower class white people. I mean, so they better get ready. I mean, those who sat there supported him, but they're feeling it now, and even the Hispanic folks who still, I mean, we're still wondering what the hell were they thinking. But now we understand, because we knew what was coming. I mean, like I said, it would be one thing if we didn't understand this, or if they had just sat back and just really understood this man and what he was about, they never would have supported him. I mean, this guy he's a bad idea.
I can't be mad at anything he's doing right now because he told us what he was going to do. When somebody shows you who they are, it was in a 900-page document what was going to be done, but people didn't believe it, and so now they're finding out. That's
And
why
he's
you want
the
to
king
weigh in,
now.
Laura?
He's the king.
He's the
a
king. He told
Okay.
us. He told us he wanted to be a king, and they voted in. Any last words, Aswada, Laura?
I mean,
Last,
so
last,
for Aswad's point, right? Because I know you said we have to keep it balanced. We're gonna keep it cute. I mean, we can talk about like the cultural impact of white history with colorism and Eurocentric beauty standards that we have to deal with on a consistent basis, and the brown paper bag and all of that. We can even talk about entertainment in media when we go to the movies and we see those films about like white saviors, like the Help movie and the Green Book and the Blind Side, the Blind Side, Thank you, white people, for that. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. But at the end of the day, I ask as soft as I can give it to them. Like it's not giving. It's not giving.
All right.
I would just push back a little on what Terrence said about, if these folk only knew, they wouldn't have voted the way they did. This dude wrote a book, The Cruelty is the Point, because his mind was being blown because these poor white folk were voting against their own best interest. And what he found throughout his interviews was their number one interest was seeing Black people suffer. They didn't mind being hurt in terms of lack of access to health care, lack of job opportunities. As long as they believed things were going to be worse for Black people, they were okay with the policies. And so these white tears that folk are shedding, they can do.
I'm
I
like, yeah,
almost cussed.
I got some tissue for you. That's all I got.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, we are
Give them
out
that
of
tissue.
time. Thank you for the discussion. We hope you enjoyed it. Check out more of this on defendernetwork.com, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's all our news for now, and we will talk to you next week. Bye. Thank you for joining us.
Stay Black.
Happy White History Month.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
All righty.
Later.